In this chapter, we're going to be talking about the importance of game-based learning. We're going to be looking at some highlights on how game-based learning goes beyond just allowing students to play educational games, how it goes to the level of changing the approach of teaching and learning for both students and teachers respectively. The first area we are going to be looking at is the fact that game-based learning appeals to learners' learning style. It appeals to learners' learning style. What do we mean by this? We have students that they have different styles of learning, the primary, secondary, or tertiary learning style. Game goes a long way of addressing all these styles individually. It's not that game-based learning is meant for one style. No, different learning style can be addressed by game-based learning. Game is a universal learning tool. No matter a student's learning style, it will be addressed while playing game. Games can even combine multiple subjects into one, creating a kind of versatile learning tool for the students. So all this put together, irrespective of their learning style, game-based allows them to learn. It addresses all their learning style. Then moving away from there, we see that game-based learning creates a kind of safe environment for failure. It creates a safe environment for failure. We all know that most students actually find it embarrassing to fail while learning. They find it embarrassing to also relearn in public setting. But in game-based learning, this is not the case. It allows them to fail and retry multiple times until they get that part right. So this is one of the importances of game-based learning. Students can learn from their mistakes in the virtual world and attain mastery. Now the mastery can now be transferred into real-world situation. Instead of making the mistake in the real-world situation, they first make it in the virtual world, they relearn and attain mastery. Then they can transfer whatever they learn to the real-life situation. Moving away from there, we will also see that students get familiar with tech devices while they are using game-based learning, why they are learning through game-based. It allows them to get familiar with the latest technology. You all know that the world is rapidly going digital. And one easy way to train digitally responsible adults is to introduce them to tech devices while they are still very young. So learning with all these devices, such as smartphones, laptops, virtual reality boxes, and all the stuff, will help them to get familiar with the latest technologies, that are in vogue and that are still trending. Also, we see that game-based learning helps students to simplify complex concepts. It's helped them to simplify complex concepts. Games can be used to redefine or give life to difficult concepts. We know that especially science subjects have a lot of concepts that are so difficult for students to learn. But using game-based learning, they are able to simplify it. It allows learners to see things from different perspectives. For example, an educator can decide to use a simulated diagram to describe a vehicle part. For example, like the one we see in this picture, a house is being simulated using Minecraft. So for students to come up with this kind of house, they now see, oh, this is how we start from the foundation. This is how we do the roofing. This is how we construct the swimming pool and every other thing. So all these are being simplified by game-based learning. And we also see that games increase intrinsic motivation in students. Games are effective too to drive students in order for them to be active, to engage with the learning activity, and also for them to concentrate and participate fully in the learning activity. Game transform learning into an enjoyable, thrilling activity without seemingly boring lessons. Seriously, this is one important thing about game-based learning. Students are motivated to take responsibility for their learning process while they are using game-based learning, either as a lone player or as a team player. All this put together increase their motivation, not intrinsically alone, even getting to extrinsic motivation. Students learn over and beyond using game-based learning. And the last one I want us to talk about in this video is about the fact that game-based learning helps students to improve their memory capacity. Games improve focus. It gradually expand the span of learner. It has been proven that gameplay revolves around memory, because while playing, students have to remember aspects to solve different problems. For example, in puzzles, they try to remember how to solve puzzles, how to memorize critical sequences or visual. For example, it might be map, it might be a house, or whatever they just want to solve, whatever problem they want to solve. And it's also enable them to track narrative elements that guarantee advancement in the game. So many games use problem-solving strategies that enhances our students' working memory to solve problems, and it also increases their mental cognition. So all this put together, we can see that games are not just put together for fun. Yes, the idea is to make learning fun, but while students are playing it, having fun, they are actually learning. This is the basic thing that we really want to achieve while using game-based learning. I believe you have been able to pick one or two things in this chapter. See you in the next chapter.